So today we're out in Sunterra, and this is one of the fastest selling communities out in the greater Katy area. And I think that you are going to love this location. It's been a little while since I've done a video on this location, so I wanted to give you an update straight from me. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Aaron, and every week I'm helping buyers relocate to and throughout the greater city of Houston and the surrounding suburbs. So if you need to know anything about where to eat, sleep, live, play, hit me up morning, noon, or night. I am your guy. If this is not your first time here, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment section down below and let me know where you're watching this video from. And if you are thinking about moving to Sunterra out here in Katy, Texas, I would love to be your resource. I have a couple people under contract right now, so I know that I could be a great resource to you. But without further ado, let's hop right back into the video. So Sunterra, pros and cons. Everywhere has pros and cons, and Sunterra is no different. But there are more pros, I think, that outweigh the cons out here in Sunterra, and I want to just hop right into it. And the first pro is that there are so many builders out here in Sunterra. We have Weston, we have Perry, we have Shea, we have History Maker, we have Empire, we have Kalina, we have Anglia, we have DR Horton. You basically have every builder that you could ever want in the greater Houston metro out here in Sunterra. And so because of that, you're going to have a great price point that is almost made for damn near anybody. You're going to have some stuff that's going to be in the low 300s, and you're going to have houses, because of some of the caliber of builder out here, more so like your Weston. You're going to have some houses that are going to be and creep up into that $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 range. And so because you have such a wide variety, I think the number one thing, that there are so many builders here, and you're going to have so many different styles of lifestyle that fit pretty much anyone. And so number one pro on the list for Sunterra for sure is the amount of builders out here in Katy that is going to service a wide variety of people and clientele that want to be out in the Katy area tied to these great schools and Katy ISD. And you don't necessarily have to break the bank and get a Weston home or a Shea home that are usually at a little bit of a higher price point. There are going to be some entry-level builders out here. There's going to be your DR Horton, like I said, your Anglias, your Kalinas, all these people that can get you in at a much more affordable price point. They're going to be out here as well. So that's the number one pro for being out here in Sunterra. The second pro about out here in Sunterra, and this is not too different from many of the original like land Tejas developments out here in the greater Houston metro. They're going to do another crystal blue lagoon as well as some other amenities here. And so if you missed out on Balmoral, or if Humble wasn't your speed, or if you don't want to live all the way out in Texas City and you want to be out here in Katy and have some of those same great amenities, the amenity center out here is going to be one for the books. It's going to have the crystal blue lagoon. There's going to have a lazy river. There's going to be, walking trails and little lakes and all the stuff that you basically need out here in Katy. The amenities are going to do it, and you're not going to be missing out on pretty much anything to be out here in Katy. Like I said, Land Tejas does it pretty much. Is the staple for them is that crystal blue lagoon that you get in many of their communities right now. And so this is not going to be too different out here. And you'll have about 7,000 or 8,000 opportunities to experience these amenities. And so if you want that blue lagoon, if you want the nice walking trails, if you want the nice sections that are dedicated to you and you're part of the neighborhood, once you go up towards Stock Dick, it's a completely different feel. It's a little bit more compact, but up here towards the amenity center, you feel a little bit more spread out. So depending on when you get in here, it also looks like they're going west on Stock Dick. So you're gonna have some opportunities, no matter when you get in over here, you're gonna have some opportunities to really witness some amazing amenities. And I think that this is gonna be one of the best ones that Katy specifically has to offer. So the third reason why I think that Sunterra is an amazing community is because it is in fact a planned community. So what that means in the greater Houston metro, we have what's known as planned communities out here, where you have your residential, which is all these beautiful homes that are going to be built out, and you're also going to have the commercial infrastructure that you need to service these communities. And the commercial is going to be your own grocery stores, is going to extend itself into being into your school systems. And so you're going to have schools that are dedicated to this community. You're going to have your own commercial shopping, eateries, things that are going to be here to service this specific community. That's one of the perks of being in a planned community, and Sunterra is in fact a planned community. So That's definitely one of the perks that you don't get with some of these smaller communities. There are a ton of communities out here in the Katy area in a similar price point. They have some of these builders, but they aren't a planned community. And when it comes to the actual amenities of your community, if you're in one of those smaller communities, you're gonna feel that you don't have the same infrastructure, you don't have the same thought and development that's going behind those smaller communities as you would here. Because in a planned community, like I said, you're gonna have that commercial support, you're gonna have the amenity centers, you're gonna have everything at your fingertips. And that's one of the biggest pros for buying in a community like this. And luckily, if you decide to make Katy and Sunterra your home, you would be living in a planned community. So you wouldn't have to worry about schools. You wouldn't have to be going super far to get to your grocery store and things like that. So third pro on the list is definitely being in a planned community. And this is one of the more affordable planned communities in the greater Houston metro and Katy area. The fourth reason why I think that this is a great community to live in, Sunterra, like I said, is one of my favorite. And one of the reasons why I think that is because of its location. One of the reasons that I love this location the most is because of its actual location. You're very close to I-10 and you're not too far from 99, which basically gets you north and south, east and west, depending on what you need to do. If you have a lifestyle that is out here on the west side of the world, I think that this is one of the more affordable places you can be, and it's a great location to kind of get pretty much anywhere that you need to get within the greater Katy area. And so when it comes to having a spot where you can have easy access in and out, as they build up this area, some of these old country roads like Stock Dick that go east and west, just a little bit north of where we are in this part of the model home park. But as you get a little bit deeper and as they start to develop, you're going to see that they're cutting some of these old country roads and they're putting 4-lane highways out there, which is a great thing and showing you that the infrastructure is coming to support this area. And so definitely location for where it is right now, you're not too close or you're not too far from like your Katy Mills Mall. You're not going to be too far if you hop on 99 to get to the Cypress Premium Mall. There's just stuff that you're close to out here that I think make this an extreme positive for where you are and for the price point that you're going to be out here. So location is the number 4 pro for being out here in Katy, Texas in Sunterra. And the 5th pro is that the cost of all these amenities, all the blue lagoons, all the walking trails, all the beauty that you're going to get out here currently cost less than $2,000 a year for an HOA. So the affordability of what you're going to get, the amenities that you're going to have, the lazy river, the crystal blue lagoon, all of the infrastructure and stuff that you're going to be packed into this community as well as tied to this community, to have access to that at your fingertips for less than $2,000 is super great. I know that there are definitely some premier communities in other parts of the greater Houston metro that are way more expensive than I think it's like 1,600 that they have the HOAs at right now. And so to get in when you can right now, you're definitely going to be not only locking your appreciation because you're coming out here so early, you're going to be locking your appreciation and getting to more and quicker appreciation faster because you're getting to it at this state where you don't see all the beautiful things that people can point to and say, hey, look, there's that crystal blue lagoon, right? Hey, look, here's that lazy river. So as soon as those things come in, you're definitely going to see prices kind of shoot up. Right now, you're paying for the vision. And if you can get in right now with those low HOAs and with the low entry level of getting into the community, I definitely think you're going to be in a great spot. But the 5th pro on the list right now is having all these amenities that are coming. Once they get built out, to have access to them for under $2,000 a year, I think is going to be chef's kiss. And I don't think you're going to hate your decision. Now, it can't all be rainbows and sunshine and gumdrops.
He ain't lying.
There has to be some cons about living in a community like this. And just like any community, there's going to be cons associated with buying in a community like this as well. And I don't want to sugarcoat that. The first con, and probably the biggest con for buying in a community like this, in a place like Katy that has the great schools and all of those things that are associated with being in a suburb like this, is that you have higher taxes. And right now, as we stand, I have a client under contract with a history maker right now, so I'm definitely up on the know of what's going on tax-wise out here. As of the recording of this video, the taxes are somewhere between 3.5 and like 3.6, depending on the section that you're in. And so if you have a $400,000 house as pretty much an entry standard 2,000 square foot house right now, you're going to be paying $1,000 a year, or $1,000 a month, excuse me, just for taxes. And so that's not too dissimilar from many other places or many other some communities out in the greater Houston metro. It's the same at other parts of Katy. It's the same in your areas like Cypress, like your Bridgelands. It's the same in Pearland or any of these other places that people want to be. The taxes are higher. You're paying for mud taxes as one. You're paying for better schools and the infrastructure for those schools and the lakes and the parks and all those things that are associated with being in that area. That comes at a cost, and this place is no different. So it's definitely one of those things that you're going to want to have to weigh and figure out whether or not it is a good decision for you. You know, maybe if you don't have kids on the horizon, or your kids are far away, 5-6 years away from going to a certain school or being in elementary school, or whatever the situation may be for you, you may not want to pay such a high tax to be out in an area like this, because one of the biggest charges that any community like this is going to have are the taxes, and the highest percentage of that is usually for schools. So number one con for being out in a community like this, and Sunterra is no different, is the fact that you are going to have super high taxes in this community. The second con is that this community is scheduled currently on the books to have somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 homes in the community. And I've driven around. They've grown so much since the time that I was last here last year. They've grown so much, and it's crazy to see how much is up, but they are nowhere near being completed. I just finished doing a walk with my client's project manager for History Maker Homes, and they said they have 3 or 4 more sections that they haven't even, you know, kind of published to the world yet, that they haven't started in yet. And so they're scheduled themselves to be out here another 2-3 more years. And so if you don't want to be in a phase of construction for the next, let's say 3 to 5 foreseeable years, getting in so early right now, although you're going to get in at a much lower price point, a much more affordable price point, and get the appreciation and all that equity gain, you may not want to actually be in a construction zone for the next 5 years. And to be out here, and to be completely honest, we got probably a year or two before the lagoon is in. We got you know, all these houses I'm seeing framing for a couple sites, but we're going to have all this land behind us. We're going to have all this land and stuff behind us right now that we can see that is going to be developed over the next foreseeable few years. And then, like I said earlier, when I was going to the walkthrough over here, there's some sections of Stockdick that they've cut the road east and west, so you can see that there's going to be expansion over here for the next foreseeable future. And so if this is not something that you are comfortable with, if this is not something that you want to be around for the next 3 to 5 years easy, then I don't know if this is going to be a good spot for you. That's definitely going to be a con, because you're going to be in a construction zone for the foreseeable future. As little sections of subdivisions become complete, or kind of get to that edge where they're being completed, you're going to be in a spot where you are definitely going to be in construction. So number 2 con for getting in right now, as of the recording of this video, is that you're going to be in some construction for a while. And the third con, and this is probably the biggest con, and probably what gives many people the most heartache about living in a community or buying in a planned community that's so early on, and this is something that I hesitate with as well. I know that when you're buying into a master plan community like this, you're buying into the vision. You're buying into the drawings and the schematics of what the developer has said you're going to get for what you're paying right now. And I know that things can change over time. I know that when I first came here a year or so ago, a year and some change ago, that the Blue Lagoon was supposed to be way bigger. I've seen some schematics that have changed that a little bit, and they've added some more amenities to come in the community. So I would say that's a net positive, but the people that bought a year ago would probably be seeing different renderings than they saw right now. And so there's a certain level of, do you feel duped? Do you feel like you're getting everything that you sought out to get when you came and signed on the dotted line out here? I've had a couple people comment on my previous video for the area that they felt duped because they're going to end up getting like a pool in some sections instead of a much bigger lagoon, or they were going to get a pool instead of a splash pad that they were promised, or whatever the case may be in the comments. That is a potential. Until that thing is in the ground and it is built, you don't technically know exactly everything that's going to happen or how it's going to turn out until it's actually in. And another kind of thing that could be another concern is as they go further north or as they go further west, for a lot of these community homes that are already in here, they're already in the Katy ISD, which is one of the biggest reasons why you want to be out in this location. But as you go further north or as you go further west, is that going to knock you into another school district that may not be as desirable? I know one of the biggest cons to buying a new construction home in, for example, the Bridgeland area right now, is now that they've hopped over into Waller County across the 99, is that the Waller County schools, at least on paper, are not rated as highly as the Cy-Fair schools. And so that's one of the biggest hesitations that people have right now, is that the thing that they once wanted associated with that community has changed over time now that that community has expanded and done what it's going to do. And the potential for that happening here is possible. The later you kind of get in and the closer they get to the borders of where they are, the potential of that is 100% possible. And so it's definitely a con of not quite knowing what this thing is going to turn out to be. And the only way to know that is to actually see it through. But that has to be a con for moving into a planned community like this, is what is it going to be versus the sketches that you saw when you signed on the dotted line, and is it going to be enough to satisfy what you thought you were getting? And so how did I do? Did I scare you away? Did I give you enough to make you say, hey, I still want to see Sunterra and I want to see what they got for me? If so, I would love to be a resource to you. This sun is beating me up now. And of course, I picked a black shirt on one of the sunniest, prettiest days that we've had so far, and I'm getting beat up right now. So ignore the sweat, ignore all that, and listen to the content. If you would love for me to represent you, like I said, I got a couple buyers under contract out here right now, so I know I can do a great job of getting you some great incentives. But in order for me to do that, you have to reach out, call, text, email, whatever is the easiest way for you to do that. I would love to be a resource and of service to you. Hit the comment section down below. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that you've seen today, layouts, builders, incentives, any of that stuff. Hit me up. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have an amazing day.